Hi, Dan. Welcome back to another NFL prospect preview. We're going to be going over Omarion Hampton in today's video, the running back out of UNC. 6 foot, 221 pounds, is an absolute unit. I think he's going to weigh in probably around the 225 range at the NFL Combine. He's a polarizing player, as a ton of people are talking about comparing him and Caleb Johnson for that RB2 spot. As you guys know, I'm very high on Dylan Sampson myself, so we'll see where he falls within the consensus. But right now, consensus is these two for the RB2. Obviously, Ashton Jeanty will be number 1. So I'm going to give you my preference. Obviously, I've gone over Caleb Johnson already, so I'm going to give you my thoughts on Omarion. And by the end of the video, I'm going to compare the two and kind of give you my breakdown on where I think each fit best. Starting with Omarion Hampton, like I said before, he's a 6 foot, 220 pound running back. He produced great numbers at UNC. Back-to-back years of 1,500 yards. This year, he had 1,600 yards on a workhorse load. He had 281 attempts this season, averaging 5.9 yards per carry both of the last 2 years. He had the 30th best offensive line grade, so he's doing it even without an elite offensive line. He's an elite player. I can't wait to get into his film. We're going to go over it a little bit differently today. I'm going to include a random drive, so we're going to pick a random game, go through a random drive, and see what he looks like, and break it down from that standpoint, as well as I'm going to show you some of my favorite plays and my big notes on him. As you guys know by now, if you've seen the first 2 videos, you know my big 5 for NFL running backs are going to be patience, contact balance, vision, third gear, and footwork. Those are the kind of big things I like to look at. I added a few other things in a graph I'm going to be showing you at the end of the video as well when I compare all of the running backs that I've looked at so far. So we're going to dive straight into the film and waste no more time. We're going to be starting with this game versus Minnesota. Minnesota was a tougher defense. They ranked 22nd against the run, and they gave the 21st fewest yards per game to opposing running backs. So they're a pretty tough defense. Obviously, we already watched Caleb play against them, so now we get to dissect Omarion a little bit. I'm going to try to keep the film a little bit shorter than I normally do, because these videos do drag a bit. So we're going to try to fire through this as fast as possible. But again, we're going to be looking at Omarion here. He's number 28. He's a bigger back. Again, one thing I noted about Caleb last time, and I really like about Omarion already, wide base. He runs with a wide base, and his quads pause but are massive, which is great for a running back. Okay, so we're going to look at this. It's going to be a split zone. He's going to be very patient at the line, finds a hole, immediate cut, gets up the field, does whatever the fuck that was, but we gain positive yards. We're mainly looking at the cut here that he gets right off the break. Very patient until he knows exactly where he's going. Now, again, what he could have done when you're looking at inside zone, what do we teach? Bang, bounce. Sorry, excuse me. Bang, bounce, back, right? So we had those 3 paths to choose from. Obviously, the bounce is not there. He can either bang this through the A or B gap, or he can bounce this back through the oppo B or C. He has it, but I think he saw the safety coming down a little bit, or the corner coming in. He obviously has this big hole. We're going to take it for positive yards, and we're going to get north and south fast. Great burst. Way to get to the next level. Now, our very next play we look at, another similar play. Good cut off the rip. Going to get north and south, and this is the type of play we see very common from Omarion Hampton. Now, remember, this is the first game of the season as well. So this is like fresh legs and a very fresh scheme, obviously going from Drake May to the horrendous quarterback play that we had this year at UNC. It's drastically different. Obviously, in an outside zone, he either could try to bounce us outside or take the hole that is right in front of him. We love to see the vision. We love to see the decisiveness. Get up the field. You're not bringing him down with the first, and that was solid contact. You're not bringing him down with the first guy. He's going to break off those tackles. If you try to tackle Omarion high, he's not going down. It's simple as that. Gets up the field, gets you a big gain. That's what you love to see. Keep the chains moving. Okay, we're going to be looking at our next play here for Omarion. This is a perfect... One of the things I love about Omarion, right? Obviously, he has a ton of game experience. He broke out last season. He even broke out technically his freshman year. He's been doing very, very, very good since he came to UNC. Comparatively, some other backs we've seen. Look at this technique, right? He's going to be a patient through the hole. We get to skate, we get to skate, we get to skate, and then he bursts up and gains those few yards. That is perfect, perfect technique to maneuver in the hole. Not going too fast, not overplaying it. Perfect speed to let his blocks develop and to find a path and get forward and truck a few guys for a few extra yards at the end there. That's perfect. That's textbook. That's what we want to see. That's what it's going to be like at the next level. He's not going to have wide open holes every time. He's not going to have giant gaps to run through. He's going to have to maneuver within the hole in inside zone schemes, and he's going to have to make plays happen. You'll love to see that with the footwork there. I think that was an awesome play, even though it didn't end up being a massive gain. And this is where we get to see just Omarion's raw power here. Pause. But this is where his wide base and just pure strength comes in. We have an unblocked linebacker. This guy probably, I would say, is around the 245 range. Boom, sit the fuck down. You're not tackling him. You're not tackling him first try. And he falls forward at the end there. This should have been a gain for, no joke, 0 yards. This should have been 0 yards right here. Unblocked. It should have been a negative. Where's the line of scrimmage? I can't even see the stick. Right? Where's the stick? Right here. Wow, I'm really bad at drawing lines. Don't let me be the guy on the fucking. Looks pretty accurate. That should have been a minus 2.5, 3 yard. Ends up gaining 1.5 yards to get the first down. That is exactly. That's nuts. Boom, sit the fuck down. All right, next. I've glazed that play enough. All right, we're gonna head to Pitt now. His game versus the Pittsburgh Panthers. We're going to start early here. We're going to get into this game as well. We're obviously at home now in 240p. What the fuck is this? Looking at this run. Perfect skate technique. Way to get up the field. Now, again, not a huge play. New quarterback. As you can see, UNC had really bad QB struggles this year, which did not help his play at all. Linebacker flies in. Great jump cut. Another great jump cut. Again, the footwork that he has for being his size is awesome. Jump, get right up the field, and gain a few yards. And it's the simple shit like this. He could have been impatient and tried to bounce this right outside. Yo, can we lock the hell in? Thank you. And tried to bounce this right away, but he doesn't. Excuse me. And it just adds, like, he could have done this, and a lot of backs would have just tried to beat him outside, even though he has the angle. Now, Omarion's smarter than that. Uses power. Let's gain some yards, get out of trouble here. That's awesome. That is awesome. We're going to look at our next play here by Omarion. Again, simple stretch with coming around. Did they motion a tight end here? Hold on. That guy looks massive to be in motion, to be a split zone almost, like a split outside zone. There's nothing there. It develops great cutback. He's going to turn it up. It's good vision here from the backside of things. You look, normally he's just going to probably try to want to take him. Nope. Great vision to wait for, you're going to have a pulling guy coming across to seal, gains up the, like, again, just simple patience and vision. Patience and vision is exactly what he shows here. That's awesome by Omarion. And again, I could show you all of the big explosives. I could show you the wide open fucking runs. I don't care about those. When I'm looking at film, I don't care how many times he can break for 30 yards on a hold where he's untouched. I don't care. We saw all the time with Caleb. I don't care. That's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking to see what he does with the nitty-gritty shit when times get tough. Watch this. You want to see someone asked me in the last one, what about Pass Pro? You want to see Pass Pro? Look at this shit. I posted this on Twitter. This is textbook. DB blitz. Coming right through the fucking C gap. Right through the C gap. Omarion's right here doing a play action. Right, and watch this shit. Boom. Sit the fuck down. You're not flying in. You're not flying in ever again. You will never come. Boom. Done. Sit down. Your ass will never fly through that fast ever again. You will think twice every single time before blitzing. Boom. You're concussed. Done. Down for the count. Now, is he an elite pass blocker? No, but that was a clip I definitely did want to show. We are going to look at some bad here. We do have a bad in this game, which is 328. Not everything is dandelions and rainbows. So we're going to go over this one right here. Now, again, it gets an outside zone play. Just, all right, yeah, this is bad. This isn't hot, right? So what this play is going to look like is going to be a pin pull toss, right? So we're going to look at, he's going to get Omarion. Oh, whoa, I got a fucking square on here. That's pretty cool. Omarion is going to get out here. We're going to pin, and we're going to pull through. What you want Omarion to do here is to follow this back, this tight end, and guard through the pin pull, right? What Omarion does, gets a little bit too angsty, sees him. The hat is outside. You don't want to see go where the hat is, because if he runs inside here, like say he sits down as a more patient, he can cut this bitch back with 2 blockers ahead, right? You've 1, 2, 3 technically. He gets hands on him. He works to the next level. You have a man. You have him on him. This could turn into a big play. Instead, we're not really patient. We try to get outside too much. We don't get much going there. We can see it from the back angle, especially the back angle. You see it wide open here. Just a little bit too angsty. I understand it looks good here, bud. Why am I saying bud like he's not literally my age? But we got to work through. Got to work through the pin and pull. Got to work through the pin. Like, look, boom. Oh, my. You would be cruising for an extra 10 yards. Cruising for an extra 10 yards. That's a play we definitely want to have back. All right, now here's a play where, again, the patience is there. He gains positive yards. I can't really knock him, but we can critique him. He sees right here as he's coming out of the handoff, he sees hat. He should see hat inside here. He sees hat. So he's going to sit down and be patient. Let's be patient. But what he has is a crack block on the opposite side. Because remember, what are our rules on inside zone? We have a bang, we have a bounce, and we have a back. Well, technically, this would technically be the bounce. This would technically be the back. He has the bounce, really bad. Like wide open. Now, again, he gains yards. He's patient. The bang is there. You get a few. But if we have a second of patience here, we have this bitch for days. You are untouched for quite a while, my man. And we're gone. The only player you have to beat is this guy. Again, simple shit. He's a ground and pound guy. He's 225 pounds. He's going to gain some yards. Now, he does make it right back up. Now, this play's great. Awesome. Quick swing route. 1 guy can't bring you down. 2 guys can't bring you down. You're going to get it for another big gain. That's what you love to see out of him as well. I think he's one of the better pass catchers. Again, he's not a prominent role, but he's definitely one of the better pass catchers in this class, I would say, comparatively to some guys. Again, like Caleb never really caught the ball. You think Judkins can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's not been a prominent role for it, but he can. I still think Omarion's a little bit more versatile in that sense. But again, he's so hard to bring down. He runs with such a wide stature. You guys saw how much I was bitching about Caleb, because with Caleb's tape at Iowa, he runs very narrow. So plays like this, where they kind of cross his body, they're able to get him down with some arm tackles because his legs are so close together. Comparatively to Omarion, where his fucking quads and his legs are wide, it's impossible to bring him down with just a few arms. He's going to break through it almost every single time. Good cutback there. I'm not going to waste your time with any more of those. We go to another play here. This is just simple shit, but this is exactly what you're going to get out of Omarion every time. Where you look at plays like this, and it's just like, this is the simple shit that does really well. Sit, 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 wait for the hole to open up, bang. You get 3 or 4 yards. He's not rushing it. Like, he doesn't rush plays here. He's a very, very collected running back. And you can tell from his experience. I mean, he's like 400 touches in the past 2 years. Over that. Almost 500 touches. Over 500 touches, if I'm doing the math right. 253 and 281. Yeah, 500 touches in 2 years. He sees everything. And remember, their line isn't fantastic. They're not really fucking world beaters. But he knows with time, this hole is going to open up. So he sits there patient, gets through, gets you a few yards. That's every play with this kid. And that's what I really like about him. Now, there are things that I can knock. We can look over that. Oh, this was a bad pass blocking. Here you go. You want a bad pass blocking one again? He's your average pass blocker for a running back. What do you get taught as soon as you became a running back? You get taught you work A to C. A to C. That's your job, A to C, every time, unless it is a slant. If the line is slanting and you have a specific job as the D, that's acceptable. If you have an interior slant and your job is the A, that's acceptable. On any other given play, you have an A to C role. So that means you block A gap first. If no one's there, you work over. But you don't leave A until you know the coast is clear, right? What does he do on this play? Goes straight into the fucking B gap. And guess who comes through the A? Unblocked defender. Can't have that. We move on. Like, I can show you plays like this all day. Here's a ton of them. Obviously, you have so many 1,600 yards are bound to have these. Great read. Way to explode through the hole. Get to the next level. Obviously, he doesn't have the angle there to really make it an elite play and break it all the way, but you get plays like this all the time. Great run. You love to see it. All right, now we're going to do our final segment here that I talked about earlier, and that's going to be picking a random drive from any game. I don't have any off the top of the head, so we're going to go to let's go to Minnesota because they're probably the toughest defense he played against. But it's also the first game of the season, so maybe I won't pick that. Let's go to, we didn't watch much of UVA, so we'll go to a random UVA drive. Against UVA, I can tell you his stats here in a second. He had 26 carries for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. So let's go to this drive right here. Starting at 7:30, we'll go through this entire drive, see how he does, and this is what you get out of Omarion Hampton. I think this will be valuable tech. All right, outside zone, gets a few yards, doesn't go down easy, gains you 6 out of damn near nothing. Finds the hole. That's a great find, great vision. Way to not be so tempted to bounce this outside. Follows his blockers, does not go down easy, gains you about 6 yards. Next play, sits there, there's nothing there, tries to leak out, flag is down. I think it's going to be a holding, probably going to come back. Quarterback getting dicey, though. Yep, definitely did come back. All right. Again, a little screen pass, a little jailbreak, trying to get a few yards. I got a lot of yards out of that, clearly. All right. Now we go back to Omarion. Nope. Just another hedge. Nothing really there. Split zone. Runs into his own guy. There's not much. He needs it. I see the setup that he was going for. What he wanted to do was try to cut back, but it wasn't there. Decent setup, but just didn't know execution. It's there, though, but didn't end up working out. Next play. Hit the block. Great block. Way to stand in there. Bad form, but good block. I don't really love the shoulder blocks, but it's fucking lit him up. That's for damn sure. I say, how does he run block? Not at all. Doesn't do much. All right, that's not hot. But then he's not going to be really run blocking much unless he's in a split. All right, get up the field. Good cut. Avoided getting tackled in the backfield. Ends up getting at least a few. Gets out. Nothing really there. Leaking out of the backfield. Supposed to be a screen. Oh, brought back screen. Both UVA was all over it. And that apparently was the end of the drive. Yeah, not much to work with here. But again, just falling forward, dude. Like, boom. Always getting forward. All right, my overall view, I'm going to compare him and Caleb Johnson as they're the two very similar comparisons. I think Omarion's better. I don't think it's by an outlandish amount, but I definitely think it's pretty sizable here. My main concerns with Caleb were partially his footwork and especially his contact balance when working through the hole, as his running style is very narrow. I think if Caleb lost a few pounds, we talked about this in the office actually, if Caleb lost a few pounds, I think that'd be really beneficial for him. Maybe he could be a little bit more of an explosive back, not have to rely on the size as much. Omarion benefits from the size. I want to see him play at 225. I don't expect him to be some big home run hitter constantly. He's going to wind you down, as he has seen over 250 rushing attempts in back-to-back years. You know he can handle the workhorse role, and he's a big back that has great contact balance and runs the ball very hard. He's a solid pass blocker, and I think he can do very well out of the backfield, catching the ball as well. Now, comparing the two, the one big knock I do have on Caleb is his junior year, or his sophomore year, was bad. He had the 70th best O-line, so obviously that's drastically different from the 4th best this year. But that showed. He went 117, sharing the work, 117 for only 463. That's 4 yards per average. Obviously, he way boosted that this year, but that really shows me that his O-line really did matter that much for him, where he went from a drastic improvement to O-line, drastic improvement in average per run, improvement in stats, and you say, well, that's a breakout. Well, I look at Omarion, and this year he had the 30th best O-line. Put up 1,600 yards, 15 touchdowns, and a 5.9 average. Last year in 2023, he had the 100th ranked O-line with Drake May. 100th ranked O-line, put up 1,500 yards on 250 carries and a 5.9 average and 15 touchdowns. Damn near the same stats with the 100th ranked O-line. That's something you can't take away. Omarion's been doing this year after year now. There's been 3 years straight where he has great average yards per run. He's a very hard runner. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's, I think, more dynamic in that sense. So I definitely give him the edge compared to Caleb. When we look at it across the board compared to Dylan Sampson as well, I'm going to flash the cool graphic we have now. Obviously, I have Dylan Sampson at a 7.9 weighted grade. You can see everything and how they're valued to the left. If they have a 1, those are part of my big 5, big 6 that I look at. That is going to be patience / decisiveness. That's going to be contact balance, vision, third gear burst, and third gear I separated because they are a little bit different and I didn't want to be caught up in that debacle. Footwork, getting north and south is a huge thing that's very underrated that I wanted to make sure I put on a grading card because I know it's not in a lot of people's. If you're running east and west, I'm not going to like you more. That's just my personal preference. You guys can have your thoughts in the comments below. That's why I hated Marshawn Lloyd. That's why I didn't like Trey Benson last year. These are 2 guys I just thought were way too east and west and didn't get the north and south running like I wanted. So I definitely am going to grade that. Your hands compared to your route running, those are a little bit separated there, and the values, again, are lowering as we go down. Outside of technique, I have as 1. I think that's a pretty powerhouse thing. If you have great technique, like I showed you with Omarion with the skate tech, Dylan Sampson has an elite skate tech. Those are the things I look at, and I think those are very valuable, especially your footwork in the hole and how you work within a hole, I think is massive. And then ball security, obviously, is huge there as well. I gave ball security for Caleb. Obviously, these are different graded from the way you're seeing it. This is with the This is with the 0.75, the 0.9, so I'll give you the straight upgrades. Security, obviously, Caleb got like a 9.9, which when you put it at 0.75, it goes to a 0.74. Stuff like that. That's pretty much how the breakdown works. With that being said, Omarion finishes with a 7.7 and a B+ grade for me. I think he's going to be a really good back at the next level. He right now is my RB3 in the class. Before I've gone over, I've done film on Henderson and Judkins. That's going to be the next video that we have coming out here. Hoping to get that out shortly, as I'm going to compare those 2 in one singular video and see their contrast and why they work so well together and how they're going to do at the next level. But that will be for another video. For now, we just got Omarion at a 7.7, Dylan Sampson at a 7.9, still being my RB2 in the class, and Caleb Johnson saying they're a 7.32, not too far behind, but still definitely a B- grade compared to the other 2. Again, just a few knocks. This is all my personal preference. This is what I view them as and how I've broken down their film. I've watched over 5 games for each of these players, most of them from this year. Obviously, with Omarion, I went back to last year a little bit in 2023. I didn't show that in the review because I don't think it's as valuable, but I did go back and look at that film. But yeah, so I think comparatively, Dylan Sampson's still my RB2, just has a little bit more of everything I'm looking for compared to the other 2. Omarion's a strong 3, though, that I really like. The best team fits that I think he can go to. My favorite one is the Chargers, and that's the one I'm going to harp home on. With his footwork and the way he works in the hole, with his balance of being able to run power, end zone. Caleb can do very similar things, and I think he could also be successful in that type of an offense. Throw Dylan Sampson in there, I think he could obviously thrive. This Chargers offense is very running back friendly, but I think Omarion will be the perfect fit of like between a Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins that Jim Harbaugh would be looking for. I think he's going to be the perfect guy that they would want to go out and get, as obviously J.K. is going to be winding down in his years. Gus Edwards fucking stinks, and we don't really know what Kamani Vidal is. I think Omarion Hampton could be a fantastic back who can carry a ton of workload and be that workhorse back that we know Jim Harbaugh wants. I think that could be a perfect fit, and that would be awesome. He obviously can also fit on teams like the Browns. He can fit on guys like the Ravens. He can do pretty much any of those schemes I really like him to go to. He's a very versatile back. Scheme isn't as much my worry as much as kind of the team fit with offensive line grade that they're going to be getting themselves into. Obviously, you go to the Chargers. You've one of the best. You've one of the best schemes. I would love to see him on the Chargers. I think that'd be a really fun fit, and I think he could do what J.K. did this year, just at a higher level. My comp for him, because I know everyone loves comps, was Willis McGahee out of the running back class in 2004. I'm pretty sure he was drafted. Again, running back out of Miami, could do the same things. Weighed in at 224 at the combine, ran a 4.45. I think Omarion's going to be around that mark. I don't know if he hits the 4.45 mark. I think he might be around 4.47, 4.5, but it's going to be very close. I think it's a very comparable comp. It's a solid player out of the backfield from a receiving standpoint, but a great runner, north and south guy who can get downhill and break a ton of tackles. That's what Omarion is to me. And I think that's a very good comp. If you guys like these sort of videos, make sure to like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see next down below. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace.